Okay, good. So we're going to start with the toe joint rotations for our relaxation technique, in which I'm going to start at the intersection between the metatarsal and the proximal phalange, okay? There's a joint there. I'm going to grab the whole joint and I'm going to support the foot either down here in the midsection. And I'm going to start rotating. I'm going to use my whole body to move, and I'm going to rotate this joint going both directions, okay? If I feel my client trying to help me with this movement, I might move and isolate it a little bit, move my hand towards the middle of the foot and isolate it. All right, so then as I'm rotating, I'm going to slide down to the next segment, the segment of the toe. I'm going to start rotating the toe. And then I'll move this hand up here, either to the middle of the foot or to that joint, and isolate it and start rotating the toe. Then I'm going to slide down to the end of the toe and then move to the next section. So I'm going to isolate that. I'm going to grab the whole entire joint and start rotating one direction or the other. Slide down to the proximal phalange. Now the rest of the toes have three segments of the toe: the proximal, the inter, and the distal phalange. So the big toe does not have that, but the other toes do. So when I get done rotating with that joint, I'm going to slide down to the proximal. Then I'm going to move to the inter, rotate, and then to the distal, and rotate in circles, going both directions. Okay, good. That's our first one, toe joint rotations. Now we're going to do back and forth, or over and under. There's different names you might hear this called, but this is the action, okay? So whether you're doing back and forth or over and under, same thing. I'm going to take the knuckles of my hand here, and I'm going to line them up with the top of the foot. They fit perfectly like a puzzle piece. And I'm going to scoop in, lean forward, take the top part of the foot, bring it over my soft vest. So I'm going to lean in, pull this over, lean in, pull this over, lean in, pull this over, lean in, same thing, okay? You can speed it up a little bit too and move it a little faster if you like, so you can vary the speeds on that. Next we have ankle loosening. I'm going to take the well of the palm of my hand, put it on the medial malleolus, which is the medial ankle bone, and then the lateral malleolus, which is the lateral ankle bone. It fits perfectly like a little puzzle piece. And then I'm going to start moving my hands in opposing circles like this, or up and down, okay? So I have my well of the palm of my hand cupping over the ankle bones, and I'm going to just start toggling the foot like that, okay? Or moving in circles, so I can vary my speeds on that. Also, another thing I can do is I can rotate from the ulnar part of my hand to the radial side, and then the radial side to the ulnar. So how that looks is this. I'm going to match it. I'm going to bring the well of the palm of my hands there, but just so you can see it, I'm going to open my hands a little bit. I'm going to start rotating from the ulnar to the middle part of my palm to the radial side, then back to the middle part, then back to the ulnar side. And I can rotate back and forth along that edge of my hand to get a really nice relaxing effect. So we have the ankle rotation, nice and simple. We're going to take one hand and support the foot, and the other hand is going to place on the upper part of the foot, or you can use your soft fist if you wanted to rotate the foot, okay? So I like to grab nice and gentle around the foot and then start rotating. Notice I'm using my whole entire body to rotate the foot, going one direction, going the other. Also, another little added thing you can do is use your client's breath. So as they're breathing in, you can move around and up, breathing in. And as they're breathing in, out, you can go around and down. And this works in both directions, right? So if I want to change directions, I just have my client breathe in, and I go around and up, And as they breathe out, go around and down. We have low back release, which is a lot like the back and forth that we did here, only I'm going to slide down so that my soft fist is in the low back reflex point, which is in the middle and lower part of the foot here. So I'm going to bring my soft fist to that middle section of the foot there, the low back reflex point, and I'm going to move forward and kind of take the foot into flexion, and then bring the foot over my hand and lean back a little bit. Then I'm going to lean forward and take the foot into dorsiflexion, and then bring the foot over my hand for plantar flexion. Spinal twist, there's a couple different ways we can do spinal twist. You can move to one side so that you're safely facing the foot that you want to work on, and go around the midsection of the foot, in which case I'm going to use my fingers in opposition like this to do a spine twisting action. The spinal reflex is along the midline, the medial arch of the foot. So to do a spinal twist, I'm just twisting like this. Another way we can do it is facing the foot, and I can take my hands in opposition here. I'm going to do opposing actions like this to do a spinal twist, but also I can start speeding it up and doing a little bit of tapotement. Okay, the tapotement action is having the tops parts of my fingers in the palm, just like this. This is also called flip-flop. Spinal twist. So this next one is called metatarsal kneading, and it is, as it sounds, we're going to be engaging with the metatarsals, which are the longer bones in the middle of the foot here. So I'm going to start, I like to start on the lateral edge, because then I can run my finger down and find a bony protuberance. That's the head of the metatarsal right there. And I'm going to take a hold of that bone in my fingers there, and then over the top here on the fourth toe. So I'm going to go, I have my fingers on both those toes, and I'm going in opposition like this. And I'm going to work my way all the way up to where the phalanges intersect with the metatarsals. Then I'm going to move over, and I'm going to do the same thing. If you want, if it's really stuck, you can move up and down on those two bones until you feel it loosen up, then move over to the next. You're going to repeat until you get all the way to this side. Diaphragm tension relaxer. Okay, so it involves the diaphragm of the reflex diaphragm point, which mirrors our own diaphragm here. Okay, so I'm going to start with my fingers in this, my thumbs stacked right in the center point, which is the solar plexus, and I'm going to have my client breathe in. Just take a deep breath. As she breathes in, I'm actually going to slide my fingers out, and as she breathes out, I'm going to slide my fingers in. So I'm doing the opposite of what I'm asking her to do. Breathe in. As she breathes in, I'm going to slide out. As she breathes out, I'm going to slide in. Okay? And what this looks like is, go ahead and breathe in. I'm going to breathe, as she breathes in, I'm going to slide out, and her foot kind of comes down this way. As she breathes out, I'm going to slide in and kind of lean forward a little bit. The next one is solar plexus deep breathing. In this one, we're going to anchor our arm a little bit into our side here to create support for ourselves, so we have a stable platform for which to bring the foot onto. Okay, but we're not jamming our finger into our client's foot. We're bringing our client's foot onto our finger, and we're feeling where they equally meet up, so we're not over pushing into their foot. Okay, so my client's going to take a nice deep breath in. As she breathes in, I'm going to bring her foot into flexion, and I'm going to place my thumb on that solar plexus point right in between the two balls. She breathes out, I'm going to bring her foot on top of that thumb, just like that. If that feels uncomfortable, see, I have my fingers right on the other side, so they're supporting my thumb, but if it's uncomfortable, I can use my knuckle here or this knuckle here. Breathe in, Place my knuckle, breathe out, bring it right on top. Next one we have walking down the front of the diaphragm with the fingers. I like to use the thumb walking because the diaphragm is going to be on the plantar surface of the foot, so I usually use my thumbs for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this foot up so that I can see the diaphragm lines, and I'm going to start walking down those. They're actually the lung reflex points, okay? So I'm going to bring my client's foot into flexion there and then just start thumb walking down those lines. And it's going to be all the lines in between each of the toes.